Get into the game tonight, I want to address my comments on our retro uniforms and logo usage. Never intended for this to get out of hand, but I appreciate our fans. Our fans are incredible. Their energy is their passion. There's nothing like it in college athletics and college basketball. But the attacks on our strategic brand management staff, there's no place for that. These people are doing their jobs. All right, I apologize. I texted every one of them and apologized privately. I'm apologizing publicly now. But we need to stop. This is their job. Whatever anybody thinks, this is their job, and it's our job to do what's best for the university. And what's best for the university is our Tuffy logo and moving forward with that. So, I urge our fans, these folks are good folks, hardworking folks who are doing their job. And we don't need to attack anybody. If you want to attack somebody, attack me for starting this and saying something that I didn't realize was going to do all that, set this off. But these are hard-working, good folks. They don't need to be dealing with this. They don't need to be dealing with this. They've been great to work with. They've worked with us on many other issues, and they've been very, very good to work with. And so, they're great partners with us on campus, and we don't need that. We don't need that. These folks, work extremely hard and want to advance NC State just like all of us do. And so, like I said, I appreciate our fans' passion. I appreciate how just how passionate they are about everything. But we got to stop this. These are people. These are human beings that are doing their job. All right, they're doing their job. So let's put a stop to that, and let's move forward with NC State and keep winning some basketball games.
Questions about the game?
Will, your thoughts on Whittier's performance today? Obviously, an emotional
Better than I
one for him.
expected. So it was good. Stayed under emotional control for the most part. 9 assists, 19 points, 4 turnovers. A little sloppy with the ball, but the 4 steals. Did a great job. We talked every day. I'm very, very proud of him.
And Darian, out of the gate, first bucket of the game, and finished with 23 points, is season high in ACC play at home. Just your thoughts on his performance as well.
I thought it was good. I thought him getting off to the quick start with the 5 points. A few too many turnovers, but I thought him getting off to the quick start helped us.
Coach, is the best ACC start in 20 years for NC State. Your thoughts on that?
My thoughts are we should be 7-1, so I'm not real pleased with 6-2. So, we should be 7-1, not 6-2. But look, I guess it's good. I guess that's something you guys can write about. But I'm not very pleased with where we are. I think we should be better than we are. But I guess 6-2 beats 5-3. But the Georgia Tech game just still makes me pretty upset. So, but look, 6-2 is not bad, I guess. But we have, I strive for a little bit higher and better than that. And Virginia just whipped us. We weren't beating Virginia; they just whipped us. But the Georgia Tech game was a game we could have won. We had a big lead in the second half, 9-point lead in the second half, and blew it. So, we want to be better than that.
You made it clear about rebounding and playing better at home. How do you think that players responded the last few days?
Oh, we were better. Look, it's been we flew back from Pittsburgh. We went straight to a hotel. We were in a hotel all day Sunday and Monday with the team, Saturday night and Sunday night, and then we came over here Monday and practiced. We did everything in a ballroom on Sunday. So I was proud of our guys for how they adjusted. I appreciate them letting us stay in our administration, compliance, everybody working together to make all that happen. But I told our guys, we go to our fans, man. These people pay a lot of money to park, tickets, seats, all that sort of stuff, and we've been terrible at home. And so we owe it to at least play with some effort and play well for these folks. And so play with a little bit more of an edge tonight. I thought that was good. And 15 offensive rebounds, pretty good for our bunch. We turn over 11 times. We've been keeping our turnovers in the single digits. Turn over 11 times, you're going to make up some of those possessions with some offensive rebounds. So, that was progress tonight. I thought Vin with 5 offensive rebounds, Trey had 3, Musa had 3, Terrence came in, gave us 2. Musa had a career high in points tonight, followed his best practice of the year yesterday, proud of him. Matt Abel had his career high in rebounds, which was good, so a lot of good stuff from those guys.
Well, just want to get a little more of your thoughts on Musa's performance tonight and what that means for the the depth of the front court as it continues to evolve.
Well, front court was, I believe, 13 for 14 from the field, and so look, Musa's getting better. It just takes some time to adjust, and he, like I said, he had his best practice yesterday. He had a great workout this morning at 9 with Coach Howard, and I think that he's going to continue to improve, continue to get better. Our metrics say we got to play him more. And so we've been trying to do that. We didn't get to play him as much as we wanted at Pittsburgh because he got the foul trouble, but we need to play him more.
Darian mentioned you want to play more physical today. What did you like kind of seeing him that?
I liked him. I think the best player. Look, the threes are the threes. He was 5 of 9 from 3, whatever. He makes them some days. He doesn't. But I thought his finishing was better. He drove. He was way more physical around the basket. He got. I've been on him about. If you miss layups, you got to put high on the backboard. Our whole team. It's not just him. We just throw these layups and we miss them on the underside of the rim, which is just. We hit the flange. We do all sorts of terrible stuff on layups, and so we've been working on getting our layups up. And I thought he hit first and got him higher on the backboard. I was really pleased with that today.
Darian talked about he got a call from a family member telling him he was playing soft for the first part of the season. And tonight he seemed noticeably physical, like you're saying.
We planted that call. I'm just
Okay, there it is. I was just going to ask, is that something that you guys have been working with him on practice? He just looks different tonight. He was in
we've been, Darren don't like that pad. We've been hitting him with that pad. We kind of let him do stuff against the air before. Sometimes you got to touch him up a little bit with that pad, get him to feel that pad a little bit. So I'm trying to put that pad on him some.
Coach, you had a eventful season off the court. This latest example with the logo gate, if you will. Are you surprised, or how has the learning process been for you to see how much scrutiny kind of comes with this job and the fan base and some of the attention maybe you don't get at a VCU or certainly McNeese, but maybe LSU where football is certainly the number one priority?
Look, I said something I shouldn't have said. I didn't realize what a hot button issue it was. Look, I'm learning too, and so it's a learning process for me, and I feel bad that there's innocent people that were affected by my comments, and so look, we got great fans, and our fans care, and so that's the main thing, and we'd rather them care than not care. The last thing you want is apathetic fans, and so we certainly do not have apathetic fans. I've learned that, and so, hey, that's good. But look, my thing's train it at me. I make a lot of money. Some of these folks we're going after don't are not, they train it at me. I can take it. And I've been through a lot worse. I've had a lot of bad stuff written about me, which is fine. I'm cool with it. But look, that's part of it. I probably need to adjust a little bit how I maybe not be as forthright in all my thoughts. Give some truth, but maybe not the whole truth. How about that? Won't be as much fun for you guys, but keep us calm. I thought Craig was gonna have to get a drink before he came to the press conference today. He was searching for a drink in the coach's locker room there. True or not?
Defensive rebounding was a struggle. They had a lot in the first half. Today it seemed like the second half you guys were really clean.
Yeah, it was better. Our guards rebounded down better. Matt getting 6 defensive rebounds was huge. Darian had some big rebounds. Terrence, I'm telling you, Terrence, look, he played 15, 16 minutes tonight. Terrence made a huge impact for us on both ends, especially defensively, with his activity. He was guarding the ball. We did a good job kind of wearing George out a little bit. They didn't play him as much in the second half because we were picking him up full court, and Terrence did a great job with that. But look, our defensive rebounding was better, but it's something we're gonna have to get fixed.
Coach, recently there have been a lot of players
Granted, TROs from New York were playing stateside basketball. What are your opinions on a coach recruiting high school players versus players that have pro experiences overseas coming stateside?
Wow, you're testing me quickly here, huh? He's testing me right after your question. I mean, look, if they're eligible and somebody says they're eligible, you can play them. That's my take on it. And I think people are up in arms because of some of this is G League and NBA guys. Well, a lot of these Europeans that have been coming over are way more pros than some of these G League and NBA guys. They've played way more professional basketball than that. So it's just a matter of what we understand and what we don't understand. But I mean, look, any coach is going to do what they need to do. Like, it's my obligation to make NC State basketball the best we can make it. However we need to do that, it's my obligation within the rules. And if it's within the rules, people are going to do it. I mean, shoot, Alabama, I mean, they went from, they raised their ceiling dramatically by getting him. Dramatically. That was their one weak point, defense and rebounding, and they raised their ceiling. I mean, any coach in the country would do the same thing.
Thanks, Coach.
All right.